Hey everybody, Ken and Michael here for a shot of Business Central and a beer. And on today's featured guest segment, we have the true pleasure of having Molly Fuchsel on the show. Molly is president of Dynamics User Group, which is a community for users, implementers, and resellers of Microsoft Dynamics, as well as Microsoft Dynamics 365. So, welcome to the show, Molly. How are you?
Hello and cheers, I feel like is an appropriate way to introduce myself and say hello to both of you. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me and excited to talk about community.
Great. We are very excited to have you as well. And like I said, as always, joined by Ken. So Ken, how you doing too, my friend?
Yep, doing great. Yeah, we're about the community as well. I mean, that's why we're doing this. So I'm excited to hear about the group and the conferences and everything, and ready to hear more about it.
All right. So I think we should probably start off with asking Molly to maybe tell us a little bit about herself and her background. A little bit about who she actually is. So Molly, how about it?
All right, let's dive in. I've had the pleasure of being in the community centralized space with Microsoft products since 2015. And in 2019, I had left my previous company and actually thought I was going to hop out of this space. And I'm really excited and thankful to say that the owners of Dynamics User Group, Jonathan Stipula and Jacob Roeder, convinced me that there was really a lot more to be done here. There was a lot of ways that I could help contribute to a greater good of building community. And I'm super glad that I signed up and joined the ride because it's certainly been that ever since for the last 2 years since I joined Dynamics User Group. And when I joined, we were just talking about putting on a virtual event at the end of 2020. So this was May of 2020. And keep in mind, that's right when we had all just faced in the US a shutdown from COVID and events, and just our whole community space was really disrupted. And so where do we go next, right? And so Jonathan and Jacob thought, let's have an online event, virtual, that's accessible to everyone, doesn't have a registration fee, and let's make sure that sponsors just really help us fund what we're doing here, high quality execution, pre-recorded sessions, but also equally important, again, to give community that voice because we weren't together anymore in person. So we started doing the concept of crowdsourced content. So we rolled out the superhero DynamicCon theme, and it had voting on all of the sessions, and the top voted sessions got onto the conference agenda. So it was really, really, really special to see how much engagement we got out of that. I mean, we really were, Dynamics User Group traditionally was a discussion forum, an open source discussion forum that had been in existence since 1995. And then John and Jake started meetups in 2016. Well, obviously meetups was on hold in 2020, but this event certainly, just using that Doug name and wealth of history and knowledge in the Dynamics products, and then just bringing that to the screen, right? Bringing it to the small screen, as we love to say. It was really special. So from there, Dynamics User Group, again, also known as Doug, has really blossomed. We've built out the forums. We've started a YouTube channel that has all that virtual event content on it. We just finished our fourth edition of DynamicCon virtual. We have live events now. The meetups is growing. So many cool things happening at Doug, and the membership is free. That's probably our biggest distinction for Dynamics User Group is we have no membership fee. We put that onus on our wonderful supporting sponsors and partners, and they have really stepped up to the plate, and that makes this user organization so attractive. But there's very low risk when there's no sign up fee, right, guys?
Yeah, we like free.
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah,
Oh, free.
absolutely.
So you said you've been around since the group has been around since 1995. Was that correct?
Yes, Dynamics User Group started by now a Microsoft MVP, Eric Ernst, who was, I believe, working with the Navision product at the time, was told to sit down in this chair and do all these things with this tool he had never used, and he had no other resources at his company. And he said, I can't be the only one that gets put into a new job that doesn't know how to use a tool. And so he had this beautiful idea to start this open source forum online to ask questions about the product. And it's really just again, has such a rich history online of our community asking questions and getting answers from each other.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a little bit before my time, obviously, with
Mine as well.
whatnot. So,
Yeah, Eric.
Ken, you've been in the game a lot longer than I have. Did you hear about
Yeah.
Dynamics User Group from years ago?
Yeah, you know what? And what's funny is I never really put the two together, you know? Yeah, Eric's an old schooler, like myself, you know, we've been doing Division since 1999. And once we started talking about all this, I'm like, oh yeah, the forum and you
Yes.
know, I've been using that for years, like
Oh,
20
great.
years. So, and now I never, but I did not, I don't know why I didn't join that together with DynamicCon. You know, in the conference coming up in September.
Yeah, DynamicCon has such unique branding with the superhero theme that that to me that's what really stood out when I first noticed it. So maybe that's why you didn't equate DynamicCon with the Dynamics
Absolutely.
user group.
I think I was
Yeah.
just going to say that too.
You know,
Yes.
yeah, the Dynamics Con, you guys are really promoting it as, I mean, I love the branding, so it's really being promoted as a great community experience, I guess.
Yeah, our probably one of our biggest marketing efforts and concentration has been not only to promote the education and connection experience of community, right? But it's also about building your professional and personal self, right? So it's a lot of personal development. We talk a lot about individualized membership and individualized superhero growth and learning product better. And we're really kind of trying to bring that tribal presence and feel to community. And the superhero theme is a great avenue to do that. It's fun. We send people capes and things like that. Like everybody just
I
gets
love
really
it.
into it. And you want to be a superhero of your product, right? And one thing I didn't mention that's probably applicable. So of course, we have a really, really big Dynamics 365 BC audience, but also CEFO still definitely have a community for Dynamics GP and Power Platform as well. So Power, of course, is so intertwined with your BC audience and a lot of our other community members.
Nice. So is somebody like the true big Marvel or DC Comics fan or anything like that?
So that's a great question. I think that Jonathan or John Stipula, our owner, he came up with the naming convention Dynamics Con after Comic Con. He's like, so let's just call it Dynamics Con, like Comic Con. So maybe he's like truly a really big fan, but he hasn't said one way or the other. We should definitely throw that out there and see if he says.
Yeah, we definitely got to find out now.
Yes, exactly. And with the Marvel movies, I actually, okay, I'm going to admit this to everyone. My husband loves them, watches every single one. I don't think I've watched an entire Marvel movie yet, but I feel like I need to because it could quickly be aligned with Dynamics Con branding and things like that.
Absolutely.
Michael, you're just looking for an excuse to wear a cape out in public?
I am. I got the whole costume with the big ass. I'm a huge frequenter of comics, or what is it? Comic-Con.
Yes,
So,
yes. Are you really?
no, I'm not.
Oh,
I've never been to
shoot,
one.
darn it. I think I've got an extra cape, Michael. I'd be happy to send it to you.
One day I'll check it out.
Fantastic.
Oh, too funny. Uh, let's see. Ken, you got something you want to ask? You want me to keep going here?
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead. I mean, I'm interested to hear. I'm actually going to be attending the DynamicsCon conference in September, and leading one of the sessions out there. So I'd love to dive into that and hear more about that conference and what people can expect.
Absolutely. Oh, we're so excited to have you, Ken. And thank you again for being a speaker at DynamicsCon Live. So this is our second in-person event. It's happening in San Antonio, Texas, September 14th through the 16th. And again, we're covering all 5 products that we serve as our community-centric org. And it's going to be great. 2 really packed days of content. I should know, Ken, exactly where you fall on the agenda, but I know that you're amongst really, really great speakers in the space. And gosh, I hope my goal was that everyone leaves each day and comes into like after the first day, they come right into the reception just to celebrate each other and all the learning we did. I hope they all walk in just super exhausted from all the the learning they got out of the sessions. So we've got a really packed agenda, all user-focused content, which was picked by our fantastic programming committee. And our programming committee is made up of really just stewards of the community and folks that have been around for a long time and experts in their product. And beyond the educational piece, which of course is very, very important, we have lots of networking activities planned. We kept the ticket price really low for users again, right? This is a user focused conference. So we really wanted to be mindful again of the users. And, for instance, we have some users that are in the nonprofit space, and every dollar they can spend, and if they even get the okay to attend a conference, it's really important that that price point is low. So we have a $500 price point for all of that education and the networking, but that includes like your breakfast, lunch, and appetizers at night. We tried to throw in everything we could. Again, if you're focusing this for users, we want to be really mindful that we all have budgets, but they have some really tight budgets at times, and so we certainly want them there. And Ken, if you know of anybody that is hoping to come and budget is a concern, just send them my way and we will work it out real quick.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I think I saw somebody make reference to that on the internet. So great
Excellent.
job helping people out.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. We really don't want to create any barriers. We just want to create opportunity, and we're new, right? We're newer in this space as a company that has full-time employees, and really trying to build that whole community feel beyond our conferences, the other 363 days a year outside of DynamicCon Live. So yeah, we welcome everybody, and we just want them to check it out and see what Doug's all about.
Awesome. Going forward, do you think that you will phase out the virtual aspect of the conferences, or maybe it'll be completely opposite where you bring in more virtual events?
That's a great question. And I get asked that a lot. That's probably the number one question that myself and my teammates get asked. And it really depends on what the community wants. So the community really asked that we go in person. And so we talked to our huge supporters, and they were really on board. And so we were able to move forward with that. Our virtual event, and I can speak to 2023, we will certainly have a DynamicCon virtual event again. It is our connection to our global community members, because not all of them, it's just not in the cards for a lot of them to come to an in-person event in the US. And so as we build our reach through meetups and maybe someday an in-person event in Europe, we want to make sure that we have that opportunity in place to keep connecting as a community on that global scale. And so the virtual event is a great avenue for that. So, as the world shifts, right? That's what I always say, along with our program offerings just in general for Doug. As the world shifts, we have a TikTok channel now because people absorb content in very small, short increments. And so we started putting content out on TikTok because that's where some of our demographic is. So it'll depend on what the community wants. We try to keep our ears open, and I think we're really fortunate because we are a small team. We're nimble, and we're constantly shifting. Not too much, of course, but you're able to shift and hear what the community wants, and not just do what we think they want necessarily. So, great question.
Yeah, I think that you guys are one of the first user groups to actually embrace the virtual aspect of it during the pandemic. So it's one of the other things that caught my eye really fast about Dynamics user group or Doug. Is that you guys very easy to basically adapt to your surroundings, so to speak.
Love it. Have you guys had the opportunity to both attend DynamicCon virtual in the past?
I
have not. Ken, I'm not sure if you have.
No. We just actually, it was probably, what was it, Michael? Maybe about 6 months ago. It was right when. Yeah, I think there was an event. There might have been a live event around that time, maybe out in California.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when we kind of hit our radar, and we started understanding what it was about right around that time.
Excellent. Love it. That's great. Well, consider this a personal invitation from me to attend all of our events, including the in-person and virtual.
Ken's gonna be speaking at all of them.
Yes, I was gonna say, and Ken, you're off to the best start. You're speaking at DynamicCon Live in September. Love it.
Yeah, no, I really, I do enjoy, speaking and have an opportunity to work with users. I mean, that's still my favorite thing to do. And just help solve problems and figure out solutions to what they're trying to accomplish. So, I do really enjoy it.
Love it. And I'll have to go peek and see. I was going to say the forums are there, Ken. And if you know about the forums, I bet we could even find some history of you participating in them.
Yeah, you definitely can find, well, I don't know if you can find it, but you can find me using the forum to
There you go.
to search for answers.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So what's I guess what's the vision then for DynamicCon going forward? Is it just to really embrace the whole community aspect and bring people together and, give them different ways to learn different things, or what?
Yes, that's you asked about DynamicCon, and I'll answer it on behalf of DynamicCon and Doug. Yeah, I think that's our goal, right? Just to keep doing what we're doing. It's going really well. Again, we continue to get increased support from our fantastic reseller and ISV members, and then we're also getting really, really, really great traction with Microsoft. They've been big advocates for us, and big just they've been noticing, right? I guess that's the best way to put it. They've really taken notice to what we're doing, and I think we just stay on our path consistently and just try to get our name out there more and let people know. We also really take the stance that there are so many community efforts now out of COVID, right? I think you hear and see the word community attached to so many things in our ecosystem. And so we just like to say you have a lot of options, a lot of options now post-COVID. I mean, community was almost a little ahead of its time pre-COVID, and now it's the way that people stay connected, and especially with the shift to remote working and things like that permanently. So I think, yeah, our goal is just to keep connecting people, finding different ways, doing a lot of A/B testing. One thing we have on our new Doug Hub site, so dynamicsusergroup.com, we lovingly call it the Doug Hub. It's got all the programs on one page. We have a contact or connect with the community form on that website. And it's everything from, do you want to enhance your career? Do you want to get connected with a partner? Are you a user looking to connect with another user? Are you looking for a meetup? Are you looking for a recruiter? So we're just kind of throwing some things out there. And again, it's our job to be stewards and that vehicle for our users and our partners into getting the most out of community. So it's fun to try things like that and see what works. That form has been surprisingly very, very popular. We threw it out just to see how it would go. And again, the users, they just need that vehicle. They need us to help them get where they're trying to go and help be a part of that journey. And so finding new ways to do that, and again, kind of ditching what doesn't work and trying new things to see what does, that's kind of the goal.
Yeah. Go for it, Ken. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So obviously we here at A Shot of Business Central and a Beer are focused on Business Central, right? And
Yes.
The DynamicCon is like you mentioned, customer engagement, finance and operations, GP, Power Platform. Without getting maybe into exact numbers, where does Business Central fall in terms of the volume of activity or members, right? Is that relative to kind of the other Microsoft Dynamics solutions that are part of
Yeah,
it?
that's a great question, and I'm happy to answer it. So, specifically for DynamicCon Live, the upcoming event, I would say Business Central is our most popular track. We have the most people registered in that track. I think, and also in Doug and across all of our different programs, from the YouTube channel, TikTok, to DynamicCon Virtual, to to the forums, we are seeing the most activity in Business Central. But I think that's very common across the D365 space right now, right? BC is just blowing up everywhere. So I think I would be concerned if we weren't aligned with that same rhythm a little bit. And so definitely seeing, I would say, the most activity out of Business Central today. Where it gets a little, Ken, just to break down your question a little bit further, where it gets a little bit confusing is the power aspect. We have a lot of people, and we always like to track this metric is BC and power. So we're getting also a large increase in seeing people select both interest levels for both products too.
Yeah, that makes sense because I mean, yeah, Power BI is embedded inside Business Central. So if you're using Business Central, you're probably going to be using Power BI, and you're probably interested in Power Automate and how you can kind of use that.
Exactly.
So
Yes, exactly.
well, the Business Central old schoolers, take great pride in our community. Like you're going
Yes.
years back. I mean, the vision, whether you're talking about the partner channel or just the users. I mean, there was
Yes.
always a really high level of activity and interest and excitement, around it. And so that's good to hear that, I'm so happy that Business Central still, it's still that way.
Absolutely.
Still one of the favorites.
There's like a lifer diehard feel behind Business Central. I feel like you have people that have been on every version of this product since it first came out. I still have many regular folks in our community that will tell you stories of how they've used this their entire career. And I think that's really special. And those are the people we need, right? We need to get to hear that history. We need that to embed in the newness level and the folks that are newer to the product to just understand the history of where it came from. And so I always love talking to community members that have really, again, they've been in this for the long haul with BC. And I think it's funny too, Ken, maybe you recognize this, and Michael, you as well, but across the D365 products and GP and Power, of course, they all different product groups kind of have their own personality. and so I always enjoy that too, because the Business Central group to me is, again, they're these diehards that are so dedicated to their product. And I feel like Microsoft heard that, right? And that's where it's really gotten a good boost in my humble opinion anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there, you start bad mouthing NAV or Business Central, they'll fight you.
I know.
And
That's when our forums really come alive, Ken.
I may or may not be one of those people.
Good for you. Good for you.
Like Ken's going to be quarantined at DynamicCon. Stay only in your section, Ken.
That's funny. But he'll have all these people who are just really excited to talk to him, so they'll break those invisible barriers anywhere and be like, "You're part of BC. You're one of us."
Yeah.
Oh my God! Almost sounds like a good podcast for the Doug group to have, getting old Business Central people on there and talking about the product, why they love it.
Absolutely. We should do a part 2.
All right. So let's see. I've pretty much almost touched on everything. I just want to mention one thing that I was reading through some of your LinkedIn articles, Molly, and I really love the way you guys like embrace the word community. I saw that you've actually found ways to give presents to people who needed them during the holidays, and you actually ran or donated some money for a keynote speaker or whatnot. So I think that's awesome, to where you're not only saying community, but you're really embracing community and helping people out. So kudos.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so this is just a funny personal tidbit to add. When I had mentioned earlier, when I was just talking about my history in this space, when I thought I was leaving this space, and particularly just that community centric organizational structure, I just felt like it really wasn't, my experience was that although my previous employer maybe had positioned themselves as a community centric and base and model, I didn't feel that it didn't match with what I would envision as community. And so when I was approached to help with DynamicCon virtual, I kind of got this bad vibe, right? Like, no, we're not really doing this for the right reasons. Like, you're doing this for the wrong reasons potentially. And I don't want to be a part of that again. That's why I left. But when I heard our owners say, anything that any proceeds we have, any net profit we have after expenses are paid, we'll donate that. We'll do good for others. And I was like, okay, that was my light bulb moment of getting back involved. It's like, that's what community is. It's about giving back. It's about supporting each other. Even, I mean, directly in our community, of course, but indirectly, even outside of our reach in this ecosystem, right? It's just about doing greater good for others. And so we've held true to that, which has been really awesome. We're just about to post something very similar in the next couple of days, supporting that tragedy that we had in Texas recently. It's really just, that's what community is. And so I'm really glad that our owners have stayed true to that and really let us come find creative ways. And we even just to note, and our financials were very public after the first DynamicCon, for example. We lost a ton of money doing that event.
Right.
I mean, we lost a ton of money after everything was paid, but we still donated. Like, it was still a priority of ours to include that in the books, in the process. And so that is what community is about.
Yeah, I think you said it best in one of your articles. I think you said it where it was for the community, by the community. So
Right.
perfect.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Amen.
All right. Ken, anything else before we ask about favorite alcoholic drink, or whether or not Molly even likes to drink alcohol?
Well, that's been the question I've been waiting for, Michael.
I was going to say, if you guys don't ask it, I'm going to ask you first.
That's why we do this podcast. Nobody cares about Business Central. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it. I love it. Well, I feel like, and I would love to hear your answers to the same question after I give mine as well. But I feel like I have to give you a two-part answer because it is with a shot of beer, right? So I feel like I do need to honor the name of this podcast and first call out my favorite beer, which is a Wisconsin brewed beer. It's called Spotted Cow, if you've ever heard of it. Michael, maybe you've heard of it, being a little closer to there.
Yeah, I've had it. I think we've even had it on the show, Ken, right?
Oh, fantastic.
I think we did. Yeah, it's been maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that, we're in Illinois, and you can't get it in Illinois. So you have to drive to Wisconsin to buy it and bring it back.
They're onto something with that, because my parents live just on the Minnesota side outside of Wisconsin. They live right outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin, and they always go and get my husband and I a case of Spotted Cow when they come to visit, because you can't buy it if you're not in Wisconsin. So super cool. I love that kind of exclusivity they put on those cows. On those spots.
Keeps their economy going.
Exactly. And then otherwise, I would say my go-to is champagne or champs. You might see me type about some champs. My champagne love is the other one. So I like low calorie champagne too, of all things. So
That's awesome. I've never had low calorie champagne. I didn't even know they had it.
I know they do, and it's low alcohol too. So that I feel like that's a good balance both ways. Yeah. So
Catch 22.
I have a champagne story. It's so I forget exactly what it was for, but we were celebrating, and so I got a nice bottle of champagne, and so I started drinking it, and I think I was literally still drinking it, and I had a headache already.
Some people cannot handle the champs. It's just not for
So
them.
I can't hack it. I'll be the first to admit champagne's not for me. I'm more of a beer
Is it
guy.
the carbonation, maybe?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It might be, or like the way they oxidize it, then you put alcohol on top of it. Some people definitely have that reaction. It's funny you say that, Ken, because I was thinking for a brief moment, like maybe we should do like a champagne toast at DynamicCon Live in September. I'm like, nope, because half of the people that start sipping it get headaches, so that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah,
Ken's out.
I can handle a few sips. It's just once I get to like 3/4 of a bottle, I think.
Okay, that's different. Okay.
All right, so it might not have something to do with the carbonation. It might just be the consumption amount.
Yes.
User issue, right?
Yes. Operational hazard.
You can always switch to the champagne and beers, MGD.
Yes. Ken, what is your favorite beverage of choice? I'll start with you.
Oh, wow. Beer. Well, that's easy. That's an easy one. What kind of beer? So I Pilsners,
Oh,
or IPAs are my two go-tos. So,
love it. Love it.
you know,
And Michael?
So I'm not my taste palette is not as sophisticated as Ken's when it comes to beer. My favorite beers are pretty much predominantly like a Mexican beer. So Modelo and Corona are tops on my list.
Fantastic. Dos Equis?
That to me that's below Modelo and Corona, but still very good beer.
There you go. Yes, I do like the Modelo myself too once in a while. So
Yeah.
good choice.
It's funny because as we've been doing this podcast, and I never really drank a lot of beer, but as we do more and more episodes, I tend to find myself liking stronger and stronger beers, right, Ken?
yeah,
And
yeah.
he
I
gets mad
think,
at me.
yeah, Michael has it in for me because he's bringing like these 12% beers in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a lot more than my low calorie, low alcohol champagne.
Yeah, I tend to like whiskey and things like that, so I guess
Oh,
maybe
very
that's where the strongness comes in, where I like the stronger beers now.
maybe like to sip the stronger beers. Well, hopefully, Michael, maybe you can join us in San Antonio for DynamicCon Live and you can sip a beer outside. We've got a lot of beautiful property that we're going to be on. So,
I'll bring a bottle of champagne for Ken.
oh, there we go. Love it.
Oh, too funny. Well, I've got no more questions for you, Molly. Ken, anything else?
Yeah, no, just thank you for joining us. It's been fun, and we're excited about, you know, the group and heading to the conference in the fall. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you both
Yeah,
for having
absolutely.
me and love to get you more involved in the Doug community. Thanks again.
Thank you. We truly appreciate it. So.